Hello, friends. Welcome. Say hello, happy home. I'm happy to be here with you today. So is Douglas. Oh, sorry. You know, it's a lazy Sunday morning. It's snowing like crazy outside here in the great state of Minnesota. And so we're sitting here having our coffee. And I just saw a news story that a bunch of Gen Zers, the dip twits, are hitting the streets in New York City to protest the capture of Maduro, the Venezuelan dictator. Okay? In the past 6 years, and these are the same people that are screaming, leave the illegals alone. In the past 6 years, 7.9, it's hard to get both of us in the screen. There we go. 7.9 million Venezuelans fled Venezuela under Maduro's rule to come to America, legally or otherwise, to seek political asylum because of what Maduro was doing to their nation. 7 to 8 million people is roughly 25% of the entire Venezuelan population. Even your princeling Obama, I think even your pedophile Clinton, they were all screaming up and down that even friggin' brain dead Biden were all screaming, yelling to Congress, we got to take this sucker out. Maduro is dangerous. He's deadly. He's killing his people. He's destroying global commerce and shit, right?
Yep.
Okay? So even your presidents, you hypocritical morons, have been saying that this guy has to go. So Trump, with his whatever level of on the spectrum he is, okay, you want him gone, okay, I take him out. Boom. Now you're all up in arms. Now that might be, I know Douglas is about to say, well, that's because Trump did it. Well, I think there's another side.
Because we got a president that gives a shit.
But here's the other side to that, D. I don't think that these protesters, look at these, are working age, military age men and women who are taking to the streets to protest. Now, listen.
They're getting paid for it.
Oh, God, it is not that simple. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen.
I am listening.
Here's the thing.
Women, I tell you now.
It's part and parcel for what I've been screaming about. The Democrats are establishing a new slave era. Here's the thing. If Maduro is taken out of power, that means that 7 to 8 million immigrants, legal or otherwise, might actually want to go back home. If they do, that is 7 to 8 million people who are not here to do the slave labor, the dirty work, for barely any money or money at all. So the ones who are going to have to do it are the working age, military age Americans. And I've been saying for a long time, these people are useless. They don't want to get off their lazy asses and work. They want to sit on their couch and play video games all day and have everything done for them. Now, what happens if you take their slaves away? They're going to be forced to get up and work. They don't want that. They're not fighting because Trump took out a bad dictator who is harming his own people. And they think that he was wrong in doing that. They're mad because cleaning up Venezuela's government means that 8 to 9 million of your slaves have to go back or will go back willingly and less are going to keep coming over. Because if you think about it, diptwits, why do these people risk their lives to traverse nations barefoot, on foot, in inclement weather, with kids on their backs, swim in the Mekong, going through the deserts to get here and cross illegally if they don't have their papers intact. Why do you think they do that? Do you think they're doing it because they can get an In-N-Out burger in Texas? No. They're doing it to flee those countries. Why do you think the Maryland man was such a big deal? His mother had even told immigration, the gangs are going to kill him. They're coming to people's homes and pulling these kids out and conscripting them into the gangs. They're going to kill him. It didn't matter that he was a gang member. It mattered that they were going to kill him. And so he was given asylum here. That's why people come here, you dumb shits. Why do you think they come here for a better life? Better than what? The life they had before. The only problem is what's happened in the last 6 years is we have lied to them. We have told them, come on over for a better life. We'll protect you in our sanctuary slave cities. When all you do is control, manipulate, hide, and terrorize these immigrants into submission to do your dirty work. Makes sense to me. The Gen Zers, you want slavery. You know that the African Americans, they know better. They're not falling for that shit. Now, bad people of any color are going to join the riots because they can loot free stuff. But honestly, think about how stupid you really are. How mentally defunct do you have to be to get mad that a dictator who freely murders, maims, and starves his own people is taken out of power, and you're mad about that? Yes, we know you're getting paid by Soros, who's actually a Jewish man, but he's as anti-Semite as you can get, and other groups, a Chinese group and another terrorist organization out there, Antifa, they're all supporting you. So you're getting paid to stand around and to loot and steal. So when criminals get paid for crime, of course they're going to do it. You're doing it because Trump is the one that took him out and not Biden, Clinton, Obama. You'd be hailing them as heroes if they had. So Douglas is right about getting paid. He's absolutely right about that it was Trump. But I really do think that I'm seeing a pattern here.
You want to see a pattern? Look at the stores, how they're locking everything up.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's because of looting and stealing and everything. Yeah, they have to lock it up.
Well, not in our part of the state, because we live in a sane part of the state. Okay, well, fragrance has always been locked up behind counters. If you've ever been to a Walgreens in the 70s and 80s, you had to ask for the fragrance. They didn't just leave that shit lying around.
Yeah, but Walmart started doing it now.
Well, yeah, but we don't live in the cities anymore. Our Walmart, the only thing that's locked up is cologne. But Douglas doesn't need to concern himself with that because Santa Claus brought him his personal favorite that he hasn't been able to find in a gazillion years and couldn't afford. Neither could Santa. But
what do you mean
Douglas
couldn't
is
afford?
worth it. Douglas is worth every penny and every spritz.
Shakar.
Douglas loves his cologne. A lot.
A lot. A lot. I dump it all over me.
Yar. But, you know, Dracarside. Dracarside. The point is that I am seeing an alarming trend with not just the Democrat politicians, but this slave trade that is starting to really, really surface here in the U.S., in Minnesota. Jesus Christ. What are you, a beachcomber?
That's better.
That's happening here in the U.S. What do you think about my slave theory, D?
Oh, yeah. I'm slaving right now. I'm supposed to be retired. But I can't afford that.
No, neither can I. You know why? Because we are poor. So when you go on to Trump's Bitcoin
I'm not
program.
poor. I work for my living. We both do.
Now, that is a huge point. A very, very important point. Douglas Salo is a baby boomer. We're baby boomers. And I said that we're poor. And he said, no, we're not poor because we earn our living. Do you get the impact of that statement? How incredibly boom that statement is, that our generation works for everything that we have. We take pride in everything that we have.
The one that has the most toys wins.
We're grateful for everything that we have. And even though we can't retire, he doesn't consider us to be poor. He considers us to be blessed and to have more than everything. That is the mentality that is completely missing in the brains of these Gen Zers, the Gen Xers, the Gen Yers, whatever the fuck you are. But that's the point. Because we understand the value of being a free American that gets up and chooses to work and chooses to make a paycheck and chooses to stand up for ourselves and take responsibility for our own lives.
I started out in the military at the Army in 1976. And the only reason I went into the military was to be able to afford the GI Bill, to get a house.
Yeah.
And I did.
And he did. And he served his country honorably and valiantly.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah. Now, that was a man who knew that he had an opportunity to live the American dream and have his own home. And he chose to honor that by serving his country. Not rioting in the streets, not looting.
I've never even thought about rioting in the streets.
Yeah, we were raised to respect law and order.
Yeah. I mean, why do you want killers out there? And people that are destroying the United States. Why do you want that out there? I don't understand this.
Because they are being brainwashed into believing that socialism is the answer. They don't have two brain cells to rub together.
No pain, no brain.
And the irony is that they're not seeing the whole picture, which is you want socialism, but all of these 300,
it's never worked.
200, 300 million immigrants that came over here legally or otherwise in the past 6 years fled communist, socialist, Marxist countries, you dumb twits.
Just remember, when I was over in Germany, the wall came tumbling down. The wall.
And none of you even know what that is, and you're too lazy to look it up.
Yep.
You are protesting the capture of a man that 4 presidents have been screaming needs to go. And now it's done, and you're mad. Think about how brain damaged you have to be mad about that.
And why would you want boatloads of fentanyl coming over the United States and killing off Americans?
Well, there's a reason for that too, D.
Well, there is, I'm sure.
Yeah, here's the reason. And I think I know the reason.
Maybe they got they got money invested in Venezuela.
This is Dewey, our beautiful bunny. Is he the most adorable thing? He's come to have coffee with us. Hi, Dew. There's another reason why they want the fentanyl to flow. Because the fentanyl... Do you mind?
Well, I'm trying to drink my coffee.
But you're putting that thing in our faces, D.
Oh, darn.
I don't want that on your beautiful face. You know what the reason they want the drugs? Because the drugs are going to kill off a lot of people. And the less people to feed, house, clothe, and whatnot, the easier socialism can manage the population.
Well, we just give it to the immigrants.
We are.
No, we're killing off American people.
Of course we are, but we're killing off immigrants too. You think they don't bring drug addicts over the border? The mules? Meh.
Oh, yeah, the mules.
They need to thin the herd. Because the less people to manage, the easier socialism can take root.
Just like when COVID hit.
So kill them all, as many as you can, and then that'll make it easier for socialism. Less people means less demand, so less reason to work, because these are brain-dead lazies who don't want to work for a living. And that's why they need the slave trade. They need these illegals here to propagate their slave trade. And when illegal immigration gets stopped, the slave trade goes away. And that means that these lazy, entitled, good-for-nothings have to get up and actually do a real day's work. and they don't want to do it. It's the useless fighting for their own survival. And we're seeing it every day play out on the streets of Minneapolis in particular, and now in New York City, where they're fighting now because they want Maduro freed. So think about you yell and scream and holler. You don't want ICE to take immigrants out of here. But then the whole reason we have immigrants is because of people like Maduro. So it makes sense that you would want Maduro to stay in power, because he's going to generate and cause more immigration here, which is going to keep you in your slaves. I am telling you, people, I sound like a lunatic, but sit back and think about the rantings. I may not be saying it flawlessly and fluidly like some professional journalist would, but I do have points here that I think are very valid.
So, if you want all this stuff going on in Minneapolis, and with like George Floyd and everything, I was a bus driver at the time, going through there when the whole town was burning down, doing my job, doing my route, and I got fire going on both sides of the street, and nobody, my company never called, never said, hey, well, what's going on? Well, I finished. I got to do my route. I got to do my job. That's just like at 8:10 of 20 when somebody threw something at one of my buses, and I had you can't get on this bus unless you have a special badge. And when I stepped off the bus to tell this person that you couldn't get on this bus, he cracked me in the jaw. So we called EMTs. We're on the ground looking for a tooth that he might have knocked out. So then I figured, well, I got my job. I got to finish my job. I got back on my bus, went to pick up on some more people, and then drove to my last stop. Went in the men's bathroom to take a break and to rinse my mouth out because I was bleeding, and I rinsed my mouth out, and then I looked, and my jaw fell in half. He broke my jaw in half.
3 places.
3 places. I got 2 plates here and 1 plate over here.
And he's had multiple brain bleeds, brain injuries, seizures, strokes, multiple surgeries, infections, came close to death, and is permanently injured and debilitated because of that assault. And you know what?
And that was the 4th time that I was assaulted.
Yeah.
When this COVID was going on.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was forced to work, and he did it because he's that kind of guy.
I didn't take a knee like a lot of the other
people
did.
But a lot of people came on the bus and beat him up, spit on him, grabbed his mask, and just terrorized him on his shifts before the ultimate one that put him down, because people were rioting that George Floyd killed himself. And they were mad that a black man actually deliberately did something stupid to kill himself.
And can you believe that I got terminated from my job after the guy broke my jaw?
That's when I became a Trump supporter and a Republican. That was my turning point.
But of course, work comp and everything, that kind of took care of me a little bit. Yeah.
Not topic. Off topic.
Off topic. Sorry.
But the reason he's bringing this up now, and it's very brave of you to be telling the world your story, Dee, is because it was these political, misguided riots that caused him to be harmed for the rest of his life. Injured and everything.
PTSD?
Because of the riots. Okay, now, but that's off topic.
Again,
off topic.
But
the point is that these, yes, and I appreciate that you do, and my loyal listener appreciates that you're opening up and talking about it, and you should be public about it. I'm public about the things that have happened to me.
It hurts.
It's very important. Yeah, it is, and I respect you for that, and I love you for that. The point that he's trying to make here is that,
and another thing,
these violent riots.
I always said I would never ever go back to driving a bus again. And what am I doing now?
Well, he's driving children on a school bus. That's
it's still
not as safe, we know today. But
okay, I'm done ranting.
But the point is that these violent riots are killing people, and they're causing irreparable harm and injury to other people that have no involvement in the riots at all. Okay, This is a problem. These riots need to be stopped, but they won't be stopped until these mayors and governors are held accountable. However, the point of this rant is the Venezuelan rioters in New York City last night wanting Venezuela's dictator freed. Why on earth would you want that? Well, one, you're getting paid for rioting. Two, Trump is the one that arrested him, not your princelings or your pedophiles or your brain deads, but also because you need the slave labor to propagate your slave trade. You are racist, slave trading pigs.
Can you imagine what your kids are thinking about all this that's going on? What's going through their heads?
Well, the kids
my
aren't
God.
right. The kids are empty vessels that are being filled with this
Again.
poison by their parents.
Again, but
And they're growing up to be as useless and ugly as their parents. You know, I had a person become so shocked at me for saying how I just hate humans. And you know why? Well, you show me humans.
She loves me.
You show me humans that are worthy of being loved. These monsters that are rioting, that are killing people, that are hating law enforcement, disrespecting our entire Constitution, our republic. The rule of law is above everything else. We're not teaching them to be law-abiding. We're not teaching them to take care of themselves. We're not teaching them the value of working. They would kill us. They would shoot us in the head dead if they had the first opportunity. So why are we not allowed to feel for that? I don't love everybody. That's physically, humanly impossible. And I'm not going to forgive everybody. Forgiveness is overrated. Because you can never, ever let go of the deep seed of resentment, anger, and fear, and PTSD that these friggin' monsters are leveling on everybody. Oh, I forgive them, and all of a sudden you're having coffee and pie and hugging each other and making little teddy bears? No. Forgiveness is bullshit. It is overrated. It is time for them to be snuffed out. I don't care if that means bombing these cities. I don't care if that means bringing in the army and arresting every one of these people. I don't care anymore. How dare you, communist, mentally retarded, waste of skin, come in to my country. How dare you be born into my country and tear it apart?
Even the ones that are born
You
into
racist.
our country are tearing it apart.
You racist,
I don't understand.
elitist, lazy, good for nothings.
Go get a job.
No, that's what they have to stop.
Yeah, I know.
They have to keep the slave trade going or they will have to get up and work, and nobody wants to work. I'm sorry if this offends anybody. If you don't like it, that's your choice not to like it. If you don't want to listen to what real people in the field of reality, getting up and working every day, are thinking, then I'm sorry that you're not open-minded enough to believe that there are reasons why people think and feel and believe the way that we do, the way that I do. The right thing to do is to step back and look at why I see what I see, what is happening in my life, what has happened in our lives that bring us to the point of feeling the way we do.
Join the military once.
It's not as simple as going to church and praying for people. It's not as simple as forgiveness. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. And when people force you into a kill or be killed, love or hate situation, you got to pick a side. These are racist people who are trying to propagate a new era of slave trade in the United States. Walls, Frey, Omar, she wants to enslave her own people. She's perfectly okay with that. Ellison, the Fab Four, I call them, diptwits. Zoran the moron, Kami Mamdani. Now,
Lemon.
now that Lemonhead, now that new idiot that is terrorizing New Jersey, their new governor. Honestly, come on.
Let's be American again.
Let's be American again. Let's stop being communists. Let's stop propagating the slave trade.
Whatever happened to love thy neighbor?
Yeah, exactly.
Minnesota nice. Where did that? That's gone.
Yeah.
There is no more Minnesota.
There's no more.
nice.
There's no love thy neighbor. You know why? Because your neighbor has what you want:
Yeah.
money, food, shelter, clothing.
For free.
Instead of growing up to take care of yourself and take pride in what you're doing, whether you're a plumber, an electrician, a doctor, a lawyer, it doesn't matter. Take pride in what you're doing. Love what you're doing. Instead of doing the work and earning it, we're raising generations of people to say, my neighbor has what I want and I'm going to do anything to get it. Shame on America for allowing this to happen. This started under the Clinton era. These 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40-somethings. And then into Obama, Biden.
And all you people that have your Minnesota and your American flags upside down, turn them right side up. This is America.
Yeah.
Be proud. Be happy.
Yeah. Oh, but in Venezuela,
I'll be right back.
in Venezuela, they're not allowed to have a flag. And if they do, if they raise it upside down, they're probably going to be jailed, killed, or God knows what else. So you are rioting to free a monster, an Adolf Hitler, a Nazi man. But then you call the Republicans Nazis. But he's a Nazi. He's a pig. He's a dictator. He's a communist. Just like Hitler or Mussolini or any of them. And now you want him freed. What is wrong with you people? Do you see how stupid and ridiculous you are? How meaningless? How rudderless you are? You've got Stephen Colbert supporting Nazis now after calling Trump Nazi. You've got rioters in the street wanting a communist Nazi pig released. And then you turn and call... This shows how the gross lack of education, because you don't really know what a Nazi is. You don't understand what Nazism means. You don't know what communism is. All you know is free, 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 and that's what you want. This is why people look at you and say you are fucking stupid. I mean, really. Think about how stupid you really are. And until next time, do good and...
Let's do like this.
It's backwards. No, you can't.
Anyways, it's backwards. It says Trump garbage. Let's just have Donald J. Trump, our president of the United States, take this garbage and put it in the truck and get it the hell out of our country. No.
Yeah, why don't you guys go to Venezuela if you want? If you love Venezuela's dictator so much, why don't you get your asses out there and go? And that's another thing that's so hypocritical. Why aren't all of you rioters hating on Trump, hating on America, burning our flags, trying to kill our agents for doing their job? If you hate America so bad, then why don't you get your lazy, useless asses over to Venezuela? Why don't you try going to Cuba? We'll never see your ass again. China, Russia, why don't you go visit them for a while? And see how these people live? And then maybe you'll grow up a little bit and understand that what you're doing is so wrong. And until next time, try to be less dip-twittish and do good and be good.